everyone. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Innovation Unplugged, where we uncover the true stories behind today's most significant and groundbreaking startups. I'm Jim Brisimitzis, founder of Khasm Labs, and in each episode, we're going to explore the journeys of founders tackling real-world problems and reshaping industries. And today, we have a special guest with Somya Kapoor, the dynamic founder of The Loops, a company transforming customer support with AI-driven insights. We'll dive into the why, the how, and why Somya was inspired to rethink customer experience and how The Loops is making an impact for businesses and customer successes driving forward. And so with that, let's get unplugged. Welcome, Somya, to our podcast.
Thank you so much, Jim. That's a great introduction. I should actually rob that one over. But yeah, really nice to be here. CEO, co-founder of The Loops. We started The Loops journey in early 2021. Was kind of building the platform. I came historically from various solutions, being part of a chatbot startup, being at ServiceNow and SAP. So have kind of seen the grind in big companies, have built product in big companies. And then, got the itch to do that in a startup land. And 2021, CX was the right space to disrupt. So hence the journey of The Loops, which is an AI-driven CX operations platform. It's a platform that brings people, process, and tools all together to really tackle this new world of AI that we're into.
Right. So yeah, there's so much positive hype around AI, but nonetheless, still hype. It's the promise of everything, and yet we're seeing that enterprises really haven't gone all that deep in AI. Not to say that they won't, they will, but in terms of where we are today, what was striking about what you've done with The Loops is you've got a very practical implementation of AI in customer success that I think is differentiated. What was the spark in all of that great tenure that you've had in your professional career where you said, enough's enough, someone's got to go really solve this problem, and we're going to use AI to go do that? What was that spark that kind of lit up what is The Loops today?
It was pretty much, we saw that the post-sales interactions were very disjointed, and that was the world with the cloud, right? The SaaS, and that, you added people and everybody needed disjointed tools, right? But at the end of the day, the customer was not satisfied with the customer lifecycle journey map, right? For everything you had a tool, which created another disjointed department, another disjointed product, disjointed data. But fundamentally, the customer was coming for a pain point, and we were putting the burden on the customer to define whether it was a support issue, a sales issue, a marketing issue, or a Timbuktu issue, right? That led to really bad experiences in the market, even though we had so much self-service technology evolved in the last 10 years. And always, support felt the brunt of it. So it was a very good area as a wedge in. I think people were trying to solve that from success standpoint, from a product standpoint, and support was still feeling the pain. So it was good for us to kind of go tackle the pain and actually go with the B2B market than B2C. It's very easy to solve on the B2C side, but go with the tough guns and say, no, there is value in here. And now we are at a point where we have customers like Bloomreach that have seen 37% productivity increase over time with The Loops within their environment. I'm not saying that this is going to happen on day one. We have customers like Gainsight that have saved 500 hours per manager per month in less than 3 months of deploying us. We have customers like Sauce Labs that have seen 8 hours saved per agent per month. But it requires new ways of looking at the world, new calculations, and articulating that to management and the benefits. And they are there. They're very tangible than what they were 10 years ago when people started really using conversational AI. But that also chatbot led to 20-30% deflection, which did shrink the support departments down. And I think we are at the next level of productivity gains here.
Agreed. Now, obvious question, and I think I know what your answer is going to be, but why AI now? Have there been, in your opinion, much more advancements in capabilities beyond chatbots that are truly enabling enterprises to have a much more holistic view of their customers, thus delivering better support? What was the spark now?
AI has been there for the last 30 years. I mean, if you hear
Great.
everybody kind of talk about it, we're on the journey. The cloud created access to data easy, and now we're in cloud. And now with the GPT, it is the decision engine that is getting fed into it, right? Now it's just a matter of prompting that engine appropriately. How do you talk, right? The fundamental shift that has happened is that historically we need developers and data scientists to code this into the system. In the new era, we just need language, people that understand to code it. We can actually talk to a machine in a human English or whichever language you call it to train it on how to behave in a certain way, right? And that's the whole buzz around the prompt engineering aspect of it. So it's fundamentally changing the dynamics that I don't need that many developers and data scientists. And I'm not saying that to people that are getting into this field that that's going to happen, but I can have an information worker really talk to a system and train it, right? So that's
Yeah.
what is really happening, and that's kind of creating this percolations of agentic architectures and driving that momentum in the market, which historically we had to write these decision trees. We had to code every touch point, and that has now changed. Now the machines have a mind, granted, on the task that they've been asked to do. They still can't mimic a human completely
Hmm.
to one task really well, right? Now what if I start telling it to do 5 tasks really well, where I don't need to train and retrain and kind of add it? Is just learning from my behaviors. And that is
Yeah.
truly the fundamental shift that has happened, which is getting everybody so hyped about it. I do understand there are folks that are not seeing value because tools and technology is just 50%. It is also the change of the mindset and the processes. And ideally, the way we did things before are not going to be the way we do things today. And people that don't jump on and seeing how do we need to up level the workforce to adapt a technology like that. I mean, I have a
Yeah.
customer, and I'm going to quote her because I just was talking to her yesterday, Monica from Coho, and she's like, I want to be the bot manager, bottometer, she calls it. She's like, a person running a very large organization of a fintech company, and she has been I wouldn't say replacing, repurposing humans in some way or the other for different tasks, where she's kind of driving efficiencies to a point. She's reached a point where she is not only showing good customer experience from support, but she's also upselling on certain intents within her environment when a customer comes and asks, right? So she says, I want to convert my support organization in managing, we call it bots, but agents, machine
Yeah.
agents, as
Yeah.
opposed to, adding more people to do the same task to increase in volume and the double the growth of the organization. So yeah, it's happening. It's here.
Speaking of its year, let's. I know every customer is different, and while they, in a cohort of customers, you might see similar patterns of problems. Their various CX implementations differ too, I would imagine. I'm curious, Somya, what does an onboarding experience look like when the customer signs up with the loops? What does that journey look like from initial, like, okay, we're in, let's use it, to, hey, it's actually being really productive and helping us in our CX journeys?
Yeah, like I said, right, it all depends on your data and how much you're seeding the data into the system. From a platform
Yep.
standpoint, we've really made efforts in kind of getting customers up and running on one use case in 3 to 4 weeks, right? And then the value realization kind of comes from there on in terms of however they want to report the value realization, right? The value realization could be 5% productivity gain. The value realization could be replacement of a headcount. The value realization could be, better time to resolve, better customer experience. And each one of them takes about a month or two. And historically, this took about 9 months when you were deploying chatbots or conversational AI engines. Some companies even took a year to get it. And now the
Yep.
value realization is less than 3 months of you getting it, where people get hangs of it, right? We deployed a co-pilot, right? A co-pilot gives you recommendations. And we had a UI where we were giving analytics of which agents are liking and disliking our recommendations. And the ones that disliked, right, we went and kind of asked them what was the reason why what is wrong in our recommendation, and they said, oh, the way it was presented. right? And the way I'm used to consuming. So that
Right.
behavior element, technology is giving you the right result, but your consumption and the UI and the behavior in which I want to capture that needs to evolve over a period of time. And that's the tuning, or that's the representation that takes time in understanding, which is the journey that we've been on and we're learning. And we're kind of saying that it's just not throwing data at your user, because then they're like, oh, it's giving me stuff, but then what do I do with it, right? It's kind of making it consumable and understanding that they're seeding the data, so it's continuously learning from the inputs that you're providing. Is a huge differentiation from a technology and evolution standpoint, but it's also getting people to add into it so that they don't feel their jobs are getting, there's a lot of threatening. People are threatened about this technology taking their jobs. I constantly talk to support leaders, and they're like, the first question when I roll this technology out I get is am I going to lose my job tomorrow?
Yeah. A valid question. I mean, that's permeating discussion generally in AI today, whether it's in what you all have accomplished with the loops, but even in automation, right? From fully automated manufacturing, port operations, distribution, it is real. What I'm curious to learn about is, as your customers have adopted the loops and learned from it, how, and you've touched on this a little bit, but how is it fundamentally changing their old CX processes? Is there as much a human factor in changing how they used to go about customer support? Are they getting better? And I'm curious to get your perspective now that you have the loops in operation.
See, I think it's there is an auto QA capability that's getting out there, and you can't have these siloed capabilities. You can't have a co-pilot without an auto QA, without insights to the manager. There can't be disjointed. Why? Because Copilot is giving assistance to the agent, but the auto QA is understanding me, helping me understand the gaps within the organization, right? And that in combination with managers now having real-time insights to share cross-functionally with their teams and saying, oh, by the way, here's the 5 bugs that got created in the last 1 week, and here's the impact of each bug, by the way. Then, engineering also is not in this mode of like, oh, I'm going to pick whatever I feel like today wanting to solve because that's a sexy thing to work on, but truly impact to the business, right? So what is AI doing? It's connecting the processes that were siloed traditionally, people working in their zones. And second, it's giving you real-time insights from the data that's coming in and helping you, which traditionally took me time to kind of find out if I needed to. For instance, success managers saying, I'm going to a customer and I want to know all the tickets that were open for a customer, right? Having that at your fingertips available, imagine going to Slack and saying, show me all the tickets for this customer, right? I don't need to log into 20 different tools, Zendesk, Salesforce, ServiceNow to get that information seeded to me in the format that I could consume and go in that meeting. And with a click of a button saying that, put it in a slide deck, right? Yeah. It's all possible today. This whole connected stuff took me developers, data analysts, data scientists to do historically. And then we always had to go back and forth and how do I want to consume it as a user, right? Now with connected world, access to information to make decisions faster that impact the business is what fundamentally is changing with the technology that the Loops is offering within support.
This is what makes AI really exciting for us, and we're nowhere near the depths of what you've all accomplished at the Loops. But I think you touched on this earlier as well, Somya, that you're using AI to make human superpowers, right? By, as you say, bringing all the right context, information, and data in ways that otherwise would have taken them long time to assemble and make sense of. You're making that just part of their existing workflows. That's fantastic. Congratulations on that. One of the questions I'd like to ask all founders is, you started off your mission trying to solve one problem, and arguably you've accomplished that. But in that, in that motion, you're probably seeing things or came across changes in your perspectives that help to shape and reshape the goal of building the Loops. I'd love to get a perspective from you on some of those changes or experiences, rather.
Yeah, no, I would say, I'm going to start probably just talk about from a technology standpoint, right? We started early 2021. We started building the platform layer, and we fundamentally knew from day one that in order to solve complex issues in a B2B world, you needed to have the integration, the insights layer, and then this no code, low code, actionable insights on top, right? We didn't know that the insights layer that we're extracting for certain elements, would get completely disrupted by November of, 30th, 2022, where, GPT kind of just came into having access to that kind of a model, just expedited our journey of what we wanted to achieve with, the CX platform that we were building. So I think your question, Jim, as a startup and as an entrepreneur in this journey of just not particularly building loops, I think we all have to be people that have to constantly keep learning and evolving, and the market is changing so much with paradigm to a point that whatever we had, the fundamentals that we were building are suited so well to build an agentic architecture, right?
Yeah.
And if someone comes back to me tomorrow and say that yes, I can do that in like 2 months, 3 months, I'm be like, no. Enterprise data is very, very complex. It's achievable. I'm not saying that this will take us 6 to 7 years to build anymore, but platforms like this that are bringing things together take time, and there's a lot that has to be said into to build this over a period of time. And everybody is experimenting. I don't think everybody's gotten it. This is the way to go. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, last question for you, my friend. As the loops continues to grow, what do you see as being the biggest opportunities on the horizon? What's next?
My God, Loops is designed as a platform to help post-sales interactions, right? Right now we're in support, but the same platform can be used for product teams, for success teams. Eventually, even if sales wants to consume this kind of information for post-sales insights, it is a platform that can be leveraged, or at least the architecture, the way we have designed, the more data sources, the more inputs you have in there, the more output that it can serve cross-functionally. So it is going to be a platform, I fundamentally believe the world of SaaS was all about multiple departments, and the world of AI is consolidation, right? Consolidation of departments, leaders leading up to the board. I mean, we saw that. I mean, come on, when we started, DevOps was not even known when we came into the cloud arena, right? All of a sudden, data centers of 45, 50 people got down into 2 people organization. And we used to release code like twice a year. And in DevOps, we were releasing code every hour, right? So I think there's going to be a world with the loops where we're going to have a lot of CX operators. It's not going to have a distinction that this is support, this is success, this is product. You're going to have a CX operator, and that operator will be able to serve everybody that's touching a customer in a post-sales interaction, and that is going to drive real-time business outcomes and leads. This used to take a lot of time, and now it's all connected. So we're starting from support. That's where we are. That's a tough problem to solve.
Yep.
And now we're going upstream. So yes.
Excellent. And I said that was my last question, but I have to ask one more, which is, what is the sweet spot of clientele that the Loops has really done well in? I would imagine it's enterprise, maybe upper mid-market, maybe in mid-market generally, maybe SMB, but I'd love to have your clarification on where you're seeing the most success at a customer segment level.
Yeah, so we started with B2B tech, mid-market to large enterprises. That's our customer base. Those are our customers. We're actually running an AI and CX action event on the 4th of December at 9 a.m. Of various support leaders coming and talking about their journey and adopting AI. But our sweet spot is B2B tech to begin with. But now we've started, speaking to B2C, and the need is even more there. But we solved a very complex problem with B2B tech just because they don't have that many volumes. Their issues take longer to resolve. They're complex issues. So if we're able to serve that market, it's very easy to move down to B2C elements as well. So it is B2B tech, mid-market, mid and large enterprises where we are concentrating the world on.
Excellent. What final question? Promise this is the last one. What advice would you give to founders who are breaking into the AI space and trying to create relevant solutions using AI for the enterprise? What advice would you give those founders?
I would say stick to what you're doing. It is a journey. It's a journey not for you as a founder and entrepreneur building a solution. It was very easy to build in the SaaS world, But this is a journey where you, especially in the enterprise, where customers are also learning along with you. So there is a lot of investment required on the enablement, coaching, training customers, because they are not well apt to what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Everybody's trying and kind of going to figure out, but there is an AI budget and every organization needs to latch onto it. So I would say stay patient, stay calm, and make a lot of investments on enablement, so you can kind of bring your customers along as they understand the output and the journey of this technology and what it's offering. I know we all are looking for productivity gains, and that means so much different in various organization. For an organization like Clara, they're like, reduction in 50% of workforce, whereas in other customers, it's like, I can do more with less. But it is definitely there. So for founders getting started is build deep tech, stay patient, and bring your customers along as you're on this journey. Don't get impatient with them. The naysayers
Yeah.
are also teaching you something.
Well said. It is well said. And it's a journey at that as well. I think we're just getting at the early days of AI, my friend. As you rightly pointed out, you started off on one path with certain ML capabilities, and a year later, ChatGPT explodes into the market, and all of a sudden, it's fundamentally changing the technology that now you have the ability to use to create even more value. So, thank you for that. My friends, this is a wrap up for today's conversation with Somya from The Loops. A huge thank you, Somya, for offering your time, sharing your insights, and your journey with us. We learned a lot. I certainly did. If you're as excited about the future of AI and customer support as we are, please keep your eyes on The Loops. They're doing great things today, and as you've heard, great things are to come as well. And remember, here on Innovation Unplugged, we are dedicated to bringing you inspiring stories from founders like Somya on the forefront. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with anyone eager to learn about the power of AI and customer experience. And then until next time, keep innovating and stay unplugged. And Somya, thank you again. We really appreciate it. Have a great
Thank
rest of your
you.
day.
Really enjoyed
Awesome.
it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.